Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Ghost Rider Issue 5. And I overall enjoyed this issue the most because it brought the Purple Monster thing to a close. And I just don't think that it was handled very well, or that it was really compelling enough compared to what we were getting on the Ghost Rider side, and didn't really warrant the addition of the Hulk, Wolverine, Silk, and agents Coulson and May. They were utilized very ineffectively throughout this arc, whereas the Robbie stuff is where I wanted to be, and that kind of dealt more with what I wanted to see. It is a Ghost Rider comic after all, and I would have rather have had this threat be more supernatural or anything in nature, or that Robbie actually interacted with any of the other people in a more prolonged manner. Because he barely talks with them at all and barely teams up with them except at the end of this, and where they kind of like fought each other a little bit, and it didn't really change Robbie's thinking at all. Like, oh, maybe I should like introduce myself to these superheroes or anything like that. It was just very weirdly done kind of arc. So this issue starts off where we had left off at Ramon's house, and Robbie's dealing with the attackers and everything when Ramon gets a phone call and kind of speeds off. So Robbie and Eli give chase, and it is to find the purple monster kind of attacking everything. So we find out the repercussions of this thing, biting agents Coulson and May, and it's like switching through their faces and everything. And then out of nowhere, it uses its silk powers to grab all the guns from the SHIELD agents and start using guns. Kind of weird. And then, especially since it's more dealing with DNA kind of stuff, I don't think that, like, you could have, like, an affinity for weapons and marksmanship, but that's, like, practice to get down more than anything. So, Ghost Rider appears on the scene, so does Ramon, and then it starts getting even crazier, where the purple thing burps up a Coulson Hulk thing, which then starts fighting and using like Wolverine claws. But we did get a pretty cool kind of team up move where Robbie kind of like wrapped up and incapacitated the Coulson Hulk Wolverine thing, while Hulk and Wolverine teamed up, and he pretty much used her as a sword to like chop through that Coulson thing. So then it gets to the point where it's still doing its stuff, burps up another Coulson dude, and Ramon pretty much takes this flaming barrel to sacrifice himself. Well, Robbie saves him from that, takes the bike and, of course, the flaming barrel, and they take out the Coulson monster thing. And, of course, he's walking out, and then everybody's like, no, don't let it bite you, and then it bites him, and, of course, it does nothing because it's a supernatural threat. And it's like, what the heck? But of course, this sets Robbie's rage off, and he transforms into kind of like his second tier form, which is still pretty cool. Unleashes a torrent of hellfire, which puts it back into its like little kind of stone form. Which, of course, the Ghost Rider is essentially the Hulk supernatural thing. You're essentially going to need some kind of angel or demonic thing to even go toe to toe with it. That kind of purple space monster is not really an effective kind of thing, except for him to like stomp on it. So everybody's like, oh, I guess it was confused trying to absorb his DNA, and so went into a state of suspended animation. And that's kind of where it ends. Show's like really happy with the team up and everything, and I just think that the team up environment was not handled effectively at all. We didn't get any kind of like people feeling each other out. We didn't get any kind of sense of camaraderie between Ghost Rider and the rest of them. He's just always by himself, almost kind of like a Batman kind of figure. Except Batman is at least kind of like still in the group, whereas Ghost Rider feels like tacked on as like, let me go, get away. Well, he's not even really like that. It's like, he's here, but you do everything you can to not do that. It was just very strangely done, and I think the execution was really poor, especially in relation to the art. Now, the Ghost Rider portion, I always like. That's always done very well. When you're getting to, like, the monster, it just looked really silly, and just, like, some faces and everything were just not really up to what I think would be good. like with the Hulk and like Wolverine and Silk, especially with like Coulson and May, it's really kind of disconcerting to have people that you watch on TV and then have them in here, and they're just done in a very strange way or sometimes weird looks on them. It's not the worst I've seen, but it's still really jarring and kind of takes you out of it. And the thing is, there could have been a good idea here with the team up and kind of introducing Robbie to a wider Marvel world, kind of introducing him to that stage and everything, but I just don't think it was well done in this comic book. And that's kind of sad because there's a lot of potential here. I hope it's continued on, at least to try and rectify it. But then again, I'm not going to be sad if it's just after this, it's just Ghost Rider again. And us focusing on Robbie, Ramon, and kind of all the stuff going around LA. That's when the issues are the strongest. Why I really like the first issues with Robbie. Because going into that street kind of mentality, going around and pretty much taking out and doing vengeance on those that need to be, have it wreaked upon them, that's part of Ghost Rider. That's how he works pretty well. And why you need him introduced to more kind of supernatural kind of stuff. Which is why it's kind of weird to have like Cho, Wolverine, and Silk. I get it because they're younger and on his level. But I think it would have been better with like Doctor Strange, Brother Voodoo, anybody else, and like Scarlet Witch, all the big stuff that was going on in like a Doctor Strange comic book should have had him pop up. Hopefully that happens and we get that kind of team up later on. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking forward to. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.